This week on Maker Update, getting a grip on your laundry, an all-natural disco lamp, an all-seeing Coglet, and tiny servos for a tiny crawler. Hey, I'm Donald Bell, and this is Maker Update, our weekly show covering the latest and greatest DIY maker projects from across the internet. I hope you're doing well. We've got a doozy of a show for you, so let's get started with the project of the week. The idea of a robot maid has been around forever, and usually we picture a humanoid type robot doing the work. Rosie the robot. But as that possibility gets closer, the creepy reality of having a full-size humanoid robot roommate becomes difficult to ignore. Fortunately, Nathaniel Nifong has a different take on how to make a robot that cleans up after you. What if we make the room the robot? His open source project is called Stringman, and it essentially turns any room into an AI-operated claw machine. By anchoring a cable in each upper corner of the room, this compact robot gripper can navigate to any location and move things around. In practical terms, that means it can pick up laundry off the floor and drop it in a hamper, or it can pick up toys and drop them in a bin. Of course, it's not ideal to have these cables crisscrossing your room, but there is a self-park feature that seems to mostly move it out of the way. And let's not forget the privacy concern of having multiple camera modules examining your room. It's not ideal, but I really don't see any way around that if you want to make the robot maid dream a reality. At least in this design, the system can be made to run locally so that video and telemetry are never processed online. At its core, the fundamental ingredients here are the Raspberry Pi Zero 2W. In fact, you'll need 5 of those, and 4 NEMA 17 stepper motors. You can find the full bill of materials, code, 3D files, and build guide all on Nathaniel's website. I'll leave a link in the description. More projects. On Adafruit, Erin St. Blaine has a guide on how she made this tree branch wall lamp using WLED firmware, small fairy light style NeoPixel LEDs, and a Sparkle Motion LED driver board. She shows how to adjust the WLED profile to make a lamp like this audio reactive so that it can respond to music. But I think my favorite thing about this project is really just that she achieved this large-scale light sculpture just by going out into nature and finding something cool to bring back and light up. The instinct is usually to spend hours designing and making something that looks organic and beautiful, but sometimes nature does most of the work for you. You just need to look for it. I'm also excited to see that Will Cogley is launching his Coglet animatronic AI companion project and kit. This is an evolution of a design he started on last year. In this latest version, he's added vision for both eyes, with one eye dedicated to real-time tracking of people and objects, and one for more complex image analysis. There's also a more fully developed custom board for the system he calls the Cognog. It combines an ESP32 chip with a Pi Pico. The Pico handles servo control and vision tracking, while the ESP32 handles wireless functions, image processing, and audio. Lots of cool stuff going on here, and a broad compatibility with different AI chat platforms, as well as an offline local mode. For a tiny robot that can't hear you, see you, talk to you, smell you, or pick up after you, but is cute nonetheless, check out Sesame Micro by Dorian Todd. This is a scaled-down version of his popular Sesame robot project. It uses the smallest available configuration of RC hobby servo, often referred to as the Pico format. Like Coglet, he's using a combo of microcontrollers to divide up the wireless and servo control functions. In this case, an ESP32 for Wi-Fi and an Adafruit Metro Mini V2 for the servo driver. Personally, I've been looking for something small like this to try out just because I like the idea of having a super small project you can take with you places and show off. Just like the bigger Sesame robot, Dorian has the files and code for this available on GitHub. Now for some tips and tools. For those of you interested in using pen plotters for creating artwork, Catt has a super useful, straightforward guide to the brands of pen and paper that have served him well. Within this, he also offers up a refreshingly honest take on how difficult it can be to create pen plotter art that stands out as something distinctly different than something you could run off a laser printer. From Disney Research, a short, fascinating look at the mechanical design of their latest Olaf snowman robot, as well as the sophisticated reinforcement learning system that led to his animation-accurate movement. Finally, on the Julius Makes YouTube channel, a first-hand look at an experimental 3D printing concept that I think could make its way into a standard software feature. It's a method for adding a design to the top layer of your print by selectively ironing it into the surface with your 3D printer nozzle. Now, ironing itself has been around for a while now, but it's usually an all or nothing proposition. The ability to select a custom pattern or SVG file to have ironed into your top layer seems like a novel and useful idea. Julius offers up some code for playing around with the technique right now. For this week's DigiKey Spotlight, check out Shawn Hymel's full playlist looking at 3D printing and FreeCAD. The FreeCAD section in particular is a great resource for anyone asking right now where to get started in learning how to 3D model in CAD. Compared to other CAD program options, FreeCAD does have a steeper learning curve and lacks some advanced features found in commercial programs, but the software is improving quickly, it's free by definition, and I'm increasingly seeing it as a popular format for publishing and sharing designs. Check out the playlist to learn more. And that does it for this week's show. Be sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment if you can. A big thanks to DigiKey for making this show possible, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.